What up? What up? What up? It is another edition of the Acolyte Roundtable, and we have some of the same usual suspects in the house. We're gonna start with my main man, Mr. Nzo of Bigger for Entertainment. What's going on with you, sir?
Doing good. What's up, guys? Let's here to talk about acolytes.
And down at the bottom, we got Cobra Commander himself, Mr. Shifty.
Cobra. Hey, thanks for having me.
And then we got, oh my lord, I don't know why I keep inviting this individual because he keeps saying stuff that just don't resonate with my spirit. But
Danny, this is the second time I was on a stream with Warren today, so I already got a headache.
okay, what's
Well,
up, Mr. Warren? What's going on
Hi.
with you, sir?
Hello, gentlemen. Hope you all are doing well on this Sunday, and I can't wait to give some Cisco and Ewart reviews right here.
Oh
So,
my lord, this should be quite interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, this is episode 4. It's called Day. We're not understanding that title, but that's what it's called. So,
Well, I can give you some insight into that. A lot of the titles have like 2 words in it because it's to play on the twins, like Redemption and Fate, or one was called Redemption and Fate. This one's called Day. The next one's probably going to be called Night.
okay, all right, there you have it. But this episode, me and Alzo watched it Tuesday night on the watch party. I like it a little bit more than Alzo do. I'm still hooked on the mystery part of it, and I know I discovered a chat just now, a stream just now, and they said, "Dan, it's obvious who the Sith Lord is," and to me, it's not. It's a lot of different um, opinions out there, speculation. But we're gonna go around like we normally do. We go tell our likes, our dislikes, our observations, then our predictions and our grades. So we'll go ahead and start with Warren first.
Who did they
Um,
say it's obvious?
the guy that was with her, they call him the
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller
that's
wannabe guy.
that's who
it's
I
him.
said too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Warren, what were your likes for this
uh,
particular episode, sir?
my likes was they gave us a little bit more history. Flashback wasn't that bad. It gives better explanation. I know prior Star Wars shows they gave us a flashback, but it was like 5 minutes. So I like that they actually did a full episode to explain the character and why they did that. Um, a little bit more history about the Sith, I guess. I'm going to be honest because we always wanted to know, well, how did Palpatine create life? So I guess Plagueis learned it from somebody else. So I guess again on the history aspect, and I guess the other like was like the mystery behind why that Jedi decided to do basically a Yoda and he basically abandoned the order, right? Because they couldn't contact him, and then he started studying up on like the coven itself. So there's a lot of intrigue I liked about that. So those were all of my and the conflict between the two sisters. That was also something I liked. So that was
Wait,
it.
did you see this week's episode? It
I was
sounds like
I was just about to say, tell me you didn't see the episode without telling me you didn't see the episode.
No, episode 4, right?
Yeah, Day.
well, that sounded like he was reviewing episode 3.
No,
It did.
no, I saw episode 4.
Okay.
How
Just
did
check.
How did
episode,
it end?
how did it end?
With the guy with the Sith Lord showing up.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what are you talking about? All of them had their lightsabers out, and May is standing. He flicks her back away, and then he flicks all of them at the end, and then
Okay.
yeah, I saw the entire episode. I'm just telling you about that's what I observed from that.
Okay. Shifty. What were your likes?
I like Basil a lot, or Basil, or whatever, and I like the writers how they slipped in some pronoun bait in it organically, with Osha being confused if he was a person or just an animal. I thought that was really clever. I like the set design. I think the forest looked really cool. $180 million they spent on the show. I think a lot of that money went to that set design because I mean, that looked really neat. The bug sequence was cool, but it was short. It was neat though, but it was short. I really dug the ending too. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, Mr. Nzo, what's
The
your
end,
your
the
likes?
end credits.
Ah!
Oh my
Listen,
lord.
the episode, and I said it, it's been consistent. They've been boring up until the last, like, and I wouldn't even say it was a freaking 5 minutes. It was like 2 minutes at the end. But other than that, this was a knockoff version of Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Yeah, they walked a lot.
That's
You
all
know,
they did, walked and talked.
this episode did feel like it was just a chunk out of a movie. It was like 20 minutes pulled from a movie. It didn't really feel like a complete
Episode,
episode.
right? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
I definitely like. I'm agree with Shifty. I thought that I don't know where they shoot this location at. I don't think that's a set. I don't know what part of the world or country is in, but it's really cool that shot they have of them down looking at the trees when they first go on planet. I don't think the special effects is bad at all. If I'm looking at like a technical side of now from the story side of it, I really like the end of it. Um, of course, I think the magic flavor for Star Wars has always been you give us some lightsabers, you give us a Sith, you give us a Jedi, a fight, which looks like what we're going to see next week. Then that's to me is the making of something that could potentially be good. I hope that we don't see this slow motion like we saw in the sequels lightsaber fighting. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So we can get some fast lightsaber dueling. I think that'll breathe some life and energy into it. Um, I used to like Soul. Now I'm not liking him so much. He's kind of getting on my nerves a little bit. Um,
Why, too
but
righteous, or what is it?
I don't know what it is. Something about him. I
Does,
don't.
what,
I don't.
does he
I don't
seem
know.
needy because he wants to redeem? I think there's a conflict with him wanting to rectify the doubt that he could have saved his her sister. So
Yeah, he lived with it for 14 years. He didn't seem to have no issue with it. So now he's then that what makes me think that maybe he knows something more. He's like, I'll tell you when all this is over. What do you want to
Yeah.
tell her when all this is
Mhm.
over? So I don't know
Well,
what
I'll tell you.
so I don't know what that is. They're throwing a lot of curveballs, so to speak, because there's some things that are said that you think this person maybe the Sith Lord, and some other things maybe the Sith Lord, and some other things. So right now, far as to me, like the shell game of who's the Sith Lord, I think they're doing a fantastic job with that because I don't know. I got my
I have a
my
theory.
my theories. I got my speculations, but there's about four people now that, based on what I've seen and what they're said, they could be the Sith Lord. So
Now,
that
are
is
you
what.
are you
That, go ahead.
are you thinking that the Sith are you? Do you think the guy in the black is a Sith Lord, or do you think that's an
So I'm
apprentice?
just using that because I don't know what he is now. The
Okay,
Acolyte's master. We'll give him that title
I think
because
he's a messenger.
there's a part of me that can say that Trinity might be it because a lot of
ah,
times the person that's the person they'll get killed. You think they're dead. They kind of moving
yeah.
behind the scene. That's one theory. Next theory is in the explosion. I never saw the horn lady. So and we saw that she had a very distinct dislike for the Jedi. So that could be a motivation. The third thing is the guy that says Ezra Miller. He could be possibly the acolyte's master. And then of course
Well,
it could be what I'm seeing now. It could be Soul, and then I'm thinking too it could be the green haired lady because she doesn't seem to want to tell the High Council what's going on. That should be like one of her first priority to keep them in the loop. She's like,
well,
no. Go
the
ahead.
green lady, the green lady. I don't read the books, but supposedly the green lady is like the main character of the books, and she's like the hero of the book. So I don't. I doubt it's her.
Yeah.
But everything seems to be pointing to the Ezra Miller guy.
I
Because
don't.
if not May, yeah, May, she told him that she was going to flip and she was going to tell the Jedi what she knew, and he's left, hanging there in the trees. I mean, probably he cut himself down, did his little Superman routine, went over there, killed the Wookiee right before she got there. So it's
Yeah,
probably
because
him, and we saw his hand.
now we
No, it
see
was above.
Jedi are flying. I never seen that. I've seen them with super speed because if you watch the Phantom Menace, you saw Obi-Wan and and Kygon went down that hall extremely fast. So we've seen him move fast, but
Yeah.
flying and floating, I've never seen all that. But
Yeah, that was a problem.
we shall see.
Oh, wait a
Well,
minute. I swear we've seen them float before, though.
No, no, no.
No.
Dooku did in the cartoon.
He floated like doggone Magneto be floating in a bubble. We ain't never
Yeah.
seen that. I've never seen that.
I somebody showed a clip on Twitter.
I
It was
seen
in
them.
the
I seen them catch people in with the force, but to float themselves, I've never seen that.
Well,
it was in the first Clone Wars cartoon, which I don't even think is canon anymore. But they had Doku, whatever. He was floating down like Magneto in one scene.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Okay.
I have well, my only theory is that I think it's the mother because again, the thing is, whenever you don't see a confirmation of a body, like we saw bodies there, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't have gotten up and gotten out. Like that, we don't know who survived and who really didn't survive, right? So I think the mother might be still alive too, the actual person that created the. And
Yeah.
also, if you look at that guy at the end, the way that they kind of did like a taskmaster with the design of the costume. So you don't know if that's a guy behind that mask or it could be a woman. So that's my thinking.
Well, we saw the dude's hand, and
It was a glove.
it wasn't pale white, and it didn't have tattoo markings. So, the mother's probably the master, and Quimir or whatever his name is, Ezra Miller. He's probably the dude in the black.
It's possible. Like I said, to me, you got a lot of different nuggets out there to kind of misdirection. Like to me, it's a shell game. What I can compare it to. Next round, we're gonna go to our dislikes, and we're gonna start this time with brother Nzo. What's going on? What are your dislikes, Nzo? I know we can get ready because it's probably gonna be the next 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. So first off, the episode was really boring. All they did was really walk and talk and stuff like that. Um the floating down, yeah, that was a problem. I didn't like that at all. I also didn't like the way all of a sudden she's just like, "Oh, I'm going to go and find the Jedi," and wanted to be good. I'm like, "Wait a minute. Why
Yeah,
now?" You know
that
what
was
I
bait
mean?
script. Yeah, all out the blue.
Like all now, like just out of the blue, it's like, "Oh no, I'm going to do this," and I'm just like, but I'm kind of with you guys. I'm like, I think it's the Ezra looking dude or whatever, but that would be too easy. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be someone we're not expecting. If they're going through all of this mystery, I want it to be something that says, "Oh, I didn't see that coming." So, yeah, go ahead.
Wait till the predictions. I've got a theory. I've got a theory.
I got you. I got you. And then that Sith or whatever comes floating down, and I kid you not, the helmet looked like a freaking dominatrix. Like I'm like, what is that? Like, are we watching some Star Wars porn here? Is this
You look like
Empire
Kylo Ren
Strips
to
Back?
me.
He looked like Kylo Ren to you?
I thought the helmet was very similar to Kylo Ren's. That's the vibe I got when I first saw it.
I mean, the shape, yeah, but when you see the zipper and everything, it looks it looks like the dominatrix helmet.
To me, I'm guessing that's where they got I guess the Sith get the helmet thing from. Maybe they're paying homage because like Vader was the first one to wear it. Well, I think
Yeah,
Vader would
according to this.
wear the helmet, and then Kylo Ren wear the helmet, and then you see a lot of them cover their heads, so to speak. So I don't know. The
No, I
helmet
don't
thing.
mind them wearing helmets. It just the helmet looked funny. It looked like literally a dominatrix helmet. I'll show you a picture of what I'm talking about one day, Danny.
All right.
Um, but other than that, man, I just thought the episode was really bland until the last like 2 minutes of it. So I'm hoping the next episode they give us a nice fight scene that'll have me saying, okay, I can at least say that this was enjoyable for this episode because so far I mean, it's not horrible. I'm just bored with the show, to be honest with you.
I got you. Warren, what were your dislikes?
Well, first off, the off-scene kill of the Wookiee. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that
thank
that
you.
that 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 doesn't make sense to me because I would have loved to have seen the Wookiee, even if he got killed. Fine, sure, whatever. We should have seen how he
The
died.
the
Um,
writer
So,
commented on that on Twitter.
so
He said they
they
didn't have
didn't
it.
have enough the budget to do that fight scene, which the freaking episodes are $180 million budget. And you mean to tell me you couldn't fit in that fight scene?
yeah,
Come on.
that doesn't make sense. And thank you for the context on that, Shifty. So that was my first one. The second one is, um, the way May said all of a sudden she can feel the force, and the way she stood means that she probably has a connection, which goes on to what I think Enzo said about how that could be, or somebody said here that the it could be the lady with the horns, because the way you could see the way she stand was like she could tell who, like, not tell, but she got the same vibe from them. That was one thing that kind of got me. And then, like, the way the Jedi seem to be very, how can you say, they're not being Jedi. I don't know how to explain it. Like, they're not being Jedi. So that I dislike that because it's showing that they have a lot of dealings that are not really good. So those were my
Hold
two
on.
biggest.
You just
What?
remind me of something too, Warren, right? The Jedi cannot feel the Sith present or the dark side. They don't feel nothing. It's like they pop up, they don't feel anything. And I'm like, no. Sometimes you feel that disturbance in the force, as Obi-Wan would say, right? And it's like they
Well,
don't feel none of that.
Saul did. He felt something because he turned around. And he looked behind OSHA and he saw that guy coming down.
Yeah, then, but when you see the Wookiee dead, and if this Sith Lord was on the planet, they should have felt it like right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something's not right. They don't feel that. And I
Hey,
don't know.
let me address this real quick. I want to pop this up.
Hmm.
Dila Brookdom says, so Daddy's supposed to be this Bible believing Christian, but you don't have the road to wisdom at all. You keep defending gay relationship on Song's channel when the Bible is clearly against that. Apparently, you need to go back and watch what I said. I said very distinctly, and if you watch my shows, I don't believe in that. But having said that, you still can't treat them disrespectfully. I say you got to treat everybody with respect. I don't believe in that lifestyle. I've said on many of my videos, the Bible says it's an abomination. But just because someone is doing something wrong, you don't treat them like a butthole. You
Who
don't
is
treat
this?
somebody. I don't know who this is, but I just want to address that. Storm doesn't care about religion to call you out, but you shouldn't be preaching to anyone. Go read the Bible, bro. I've read the Bible, and apparently you're not watching my videos because I clearly said I don't agree with that lifestyle. It is not biblical at all. But at the same time, I can't go out there and chastise somebody and judge somebody. You need to read the Bible because the Bible says you don't judge people. That's God's. Do I want
Eh,
do I want, and the particular argument was, is a form of bigotry. Just like 50 years ago, people didn't want interracial marriages. I'm in an interracial marriage. I live that lifestyle. I know what certain people, certain groups of people did not like. We don't like. I don't like that lifestyle. But at the same time, I can't treat that person like a piece of trash because I don't agree with their lifestyle. The same way, if someone was an alcoholic, that's it. That's in the Bible too. If someone steals, if someone kills, I don't like that, but I still got to treat that individual with respect. That is what I said. So I'm not sure what you think you heard, but you have never heard me say I agree with that lifestyle because I don't.
And who are you to be judging anybody, anyways, bro? Like, for real, though. You know what I mean? Like, if you're so into the Bible, then you should know exactly what Danny's saying is correct. I don't understand why you're coming over here on the Star Wars Roundtable to talk about shit that happened on another channel. Get there with that shit, man.
I'm not swearing no boy. I mean, he said what
Sorry,
he
Danny.
said.
I'll do the cursing for you.
Oh, no, don't worry about him. But I mean, bro. I mean, you really need to watch my stuff because I don't believe in that lifestyle. But at the same time, I'm going to treat those individuals with respect. And I've told you, and if you watch my videos, I said if you live that particular lifestyle, the Bible, and I believe the Bible says you're going to hell. It says it's an abomination. Yeah, Danny didn't say it. The Bible said it. And that's what I always said. So sorry you feel that way, bro, but Please watch my videos, and you will not have any confusion about how I feel about that particular topic. Now, let's get back to the show.
Oh,
This is the. Go ahead, Warren. I'm
oh
sorry.
no, my last thing I was gonna say was the Jedi are hypocrites. That's my last dislike because at one hand they know about this but they don't want to address it, which is how this whole thing becomes how we start the Sith starts getting back because the fact that you're gonna keep it in secrecy is saying that you're keeping this mask to the public that we're the Jedi, we protect everyone. So I dislike that a lot because this seems like what started everything to go down the bad rabbit hole. So those were my three dislikes.
Okay. Um, Shifty, what are your dislikes?
Well, I think part of the reason they kept it in secrecy is they don't really know what they're dealing with yet because they still think maybe it's a Jedi, maybe it's a different sect of the Jedi. They don't know. I mean, they're not even mentioning Sith yet because, like everybody believes, the Sith's been gone for ages and ages. I didn't like it was way too short. Like I mentioned a while ago, it felt like just a chunk of a movie just pulled out and just dropped on Disney Plus. The Green Lady. Still can't act at all. Terrible. The only reason she got that job is because she's Leslie Headland's wife. All the people acting like they cared about how old Ki-Adi Mundi was and when he was born before this episode, and now they do. I think is hilarious. And they're also, fussing about how he's included in this episode because he's in Phantom Menace. And he's saying like, well, the Sith hasn't been seen for 1,000 years. Well, like I just said, they don't really know what they're dealing with yet. And everybody's just going off, on a tangent about that on Twitter. But
Well, I don't disagree with that 100%. And I've said that from the start. You put the Sith in there now, and they had them saying they don't know about the Sith for a millennium. You can try to explain that out of this show, but the only way you're doing that is everybody has to die, and he's not dead. So
this wait till I get to my theory. I don't think it's. Oh, I just next segment. But also, everybody talking about May and how she suddenly switched sides. I mean, you got to remember, she just found out her sister was alive. Also, she was told by Quimir that May was close to Soul, a Jedi who could possibly protect her from, the Master and whoever was training her. So, she was thinking about that the whole way.
yeah,
It
but it
wasn't
took
just a,
no. She waited until she got all the way down to the planet and was searching for this Wookiee to decide that she wanted to switch sides now. Nah, she
well,
should have did that. She should have did that the minute she seen her. And I said that last episode. She should have did that the minute she seen her sister was alive because now everything she was doing was a lie.
but she
So
didn't know that her sister was with Soul, though. She never
doesn't
saw her with.
matter. She was doing it because she thought her sister was dead and the people killed everybody like her covenant or whatever. When she found out her sister was dead, I think it was on both sides. They just walked away from each other like it was nothing. And I'm like, no, you're not gonna do that if you think your sibling is dead and all of a sudden you find out they're not.
I don't know. I think there's going to be more in the flashback to tell that what went down and all. And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be at least two different sides coming up because we got to have May's side and then the Jedi side or whatever. So maybe it'll explain the backstory and the motive.
We just got Chris Knight just popped in. What's going on, Chris?
Hello.
Not much. What's going on, guys?
What up, Chris?
The first round we told our likes. What are your likes about this episode, Chris?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting story. I like this episode better because it's not a flashback. It moves forward with the story they were telling. We get a little bit of the dichotomy of kind of what you guys were just talking about. They know they're alive. They're both alive now. And that then means that they're both kind of questioning things. So May, I believe, is the one that's is she the dark one right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's questioning what she's doing. She's like, I don't have to do this anymore. And I like that. And then, oh shoot, how do you say the other one's name?
Okay.
Osha.
Yeah. She's she's like, well, I couldn't get her last time, and I'm not going to be able to do it this time. I know it because she knows on her side that she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't. She wants her sister to be safe still. So she tries to walk away completely, but kind of in a selfish way. The Jedi kind of say, "No, you got to come with me because I want to go." So it's kind of like that's a real selfish thing. It's kind of like using her, and I think that might come into play at a later point. Um, I'm kind of split on the whole this character right here, the Sith or the Dark Jedi or whatever they're going to call them. Kind of split on that, just out of the blue being there. Like, are we suggesting that these Jedi's are just really weak and can't figure it out, or are we just trying to play that game of sometimes the dark side can really blind people thoroughly? So I'm waiting for that to play out. That's some of the stuff right there.
I got you. And what were your likes to the show?
The dislikes.
Likes. The first one was.
Oh, that's what I was saying. That's my likes. Is like the way that it played out, the way that they're playing. The two sisters both don't want to go forward anymore because they know they're both alive, and because of their attachment to each other, they're both trying to walk away from the conflict that other people are trying to involve them in. So May doesn't want to continue down this path. She's like, I don't have to do this. My sister's alive. I know she's alive. I'm going to go back to her. And Usha is not, she's literally saying, I don't want to go try to get her or bring her in because I don't want her to get, hurt or in trouble. And so she's trying to walk away from going after her. I think that really quick, I was just going to say, I think that storyline of they are tied to each other, like they said in the last episode, two are one. So I think that's what we're seeing here. It's a rubber band effect. They are still being pulled towards each other, even if they're trying to walk away from these things they're a part of.
I got you. And what are your dislikes?
Well, again, the Jedi's being just that shit blind to being led down there. They're trying to go after the one Jedi who is now dead, and they're so focused on that they're blinded by this dark Jedi, which they didn't know about yet. I'm not going to call it a Sith yet until they actually say it. I mean, technically, that's probably what it's going to end up being, but they haven't said that yet. That's kind of a problem. And the way that, like I said, the Sith, it just like, why would he be there if he sent May in to do a job? I mean, why not just? I guess you're going to know if she succeeds or not. So does he just already know that she's not going to try to do it, and that's why they show up? I don't know. And I think also one thing I don't like, I don't know this yet, it's speculation, but I think I already kind of have an idea of who that is.
Okay.
And I don't like that it seems like it's pretty much telegraphed.
Yeah. Nzo, here's a picture of the helmet that you were talking about. I don't see how they can see because it doesn't seem to have any kind of eye ports or anything, but basically you can see a little bit what you were talking about. It looks like it was kind of put together. Really not sure. Let me see. You just sent something. I think you muted, Nzo.
Okay, that's
Do some alterations on that mask in the corner there, and boom, you got the
this
you
is
know what
rather
I mean?
disturbing. This is disturbing.
Well, then, get mask, huh?
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying, but I didn't get that when I first saw it. But I don't know. It like they didn't put a lot of thought into it. Like it was something maybe they just kind of. Here we go. Put this on.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be a little
Also,
bit.
I
Go
was
ahead.
thinking that maybe they have the mask because they could be one of the people that may have gotten like burnt or injured at that coven. So that could be a possible reason why.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
Like I said, now they're playing. They got a shell game going around. Like, who's the Sith? Who's the Acolyte's master? We don't.
It,
Like I said, I
it's
got several
Chimera.
different theories. So I'm just very interested in seeing who this individual is going to be. The things I didn't like I said, like Azo said, it can be a little slow at times. But what really is the driving force of me sticking in and hanging with this is the mystery part of it. And I hope that once we do reveal that it doesn't. That's it. I don't know. A lot of times, as we've seen in these Disney Star Wars projects, they kind of save the best for maybe the last couple episodes or whatever. So hopefully, if they do reveal it in this next episode, which I keep hearing that episode 5 is supposed to be this big reveal or whatever, then I think it was had a total of 8 episodes total, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
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 So maybe 7 and 8 will be. It's not going to be a Luke Skywalker one, but maybe it'll be something that is maybe kind of sort of equal to that. Something about or maybe like they did in Rogue One, had tied to Empire Strike Back. To A New Hope. So they can do something like that. It'd be cool. If they can have this kind of sort of tied to something we already seen to kind of make it make sense. That would be cool. But
I,
right now, it's the shell game going on. Shell game.
I kind of think
Who is this daggone Sith or Acolyte Master?
I agree with you, Danny. I think that the show's going to be a lot better if they can find a way to not necessarily pull it right into the Phantom Menace, but find a way to start a connection towards that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very good thing to do. Really quick. Okay, so I know that we talked in the chat, like Danny and Nzo and I talked about the possibility of the pronouns and stuff like that, and I'm seeing people talk about that. Where was the pronouns in this, except for the little guide they had? They kept on really stressing that it was a he.
That was it. That was it. Because
to me, that's not so much throwing out a pronoun as much as it just is re-correlating that it's not a thing. It's a being, and the being has it's a he or a she. It's not an it. And I didn't really take that in a bad way. It's like, they could have gone really, really pronoun and gone like, one of them said, no, I'm they, or something like that, but they didn't do that. So.
I think right now, Star Wars fans are so hypersensitive. Any little thing that would be normal flow of speech, if it even remotely sounds like it's going one way off the rails, they're gonna see what I told you. So right now, I think it's a bunch of hypersensitivity versus actually trying to have an agenda.
Yeah.
All Osha said was, "Is Basil a he or a they?" And that's all she said. That's all she said, and people were flipping out.
Well, that's the thing. I think, Danny's right. It's a hypersensitivity thing. Like, I'm not going to call this the greatest Star Wars stuff out there. I know people like Fatal and a lot of other people hate this and they say it's crap and they're not going to watch it and all that. But here's the thing. I think, Danny, you said it last week that I like watching Star Wars. It's not the greatest thing, but it's got enough of a storyline. It's keeping me interested enough right now, and I'm hoping for it to get better. It's definitely not worse. And I know you guys probably don't think it's as bad as like Andor or what you guys say about Andor. Shifty and I, of course, are on the other spectrum of Andor, but
fantastic, amazing.
Yes,
I never watched that, so
that's what I was gonna say. I don't mind watching Star Wars too. Anything that's not named Andor.
Yeah, I know. But that's my point. It's like, I think Danny's absolutely right. It's that hypersensitivity. It's like, folks, just back off a little bit. Yeah, okay. I guess I can see it, but you're really just stretching and reaching for things that aren't there. It's like Shifty, you said in the comments, the lesbian birth and stuff. I'm like, well, I understand you could say that the coven was lesbians, but except for the kiss, which, again, witches, whatever. Yes, you could imply that, but it's like I didn't really think that was. They're not necessarily their mothers. They're a coven. They all work to raise these two children type thing. So I think a lot of stuff was really read into this, and while there is some truth to things, it's not as blatant as I think people want it to be who are complaining about it.
But they did also say this was the gayest Star Wars ever and released it during Pride Month. So,
Well, you see, but that's the problem. And that's what I said is always the problem. When you lead with the agenda instead of leading with the story, there's an issue, right? They didn't have to say any of that and could have just put it out. And I think that's when you know. Yeah,
could
go
have been
ahead,
a troll.
What do you mean?
Could have been a troll.
No. It wasn't a troll.
I'm saying to say that to get people talking about it and be all up in arms to watch it.
Yeah, no. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, well, that was a question somebody had asked, like at the end of the interview. Like it was like a fun little question, and they were joking about it. I mean, I don't. It wasn't something that they just come out and like, hey, this is the gayest Star Wars ever. It was like a little fun little tidbit.
But at the same time, that's what they do, though, right? Because you already know when you get into these interviews, they usually know what questions are going to be asked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they knew that question was going to be asked, right? And they knew what they were going to answer to that question. But it's fine.
Yeah.
And like you put all the stuff in there, and you just don't talk about it. That's what normalizes it. It's when you try to force it down people's neck, then people start to get, oh, screw this stuff and this and that.
Absolutely.
And I say it all the time. I watched the Chucky series, right? And the lead in that, they're gay. But they don't lead with that in the Chucky series, and nobody complains about it. We understand that people are in the world, but
they did this past season. I heard what happened, but
I didn't hear anybody complaining. But
yeah, okay.
Let me make a quick comment, and this is for DL Bookham. Okay, I'm going to say this. I think everybody on this channel that watches my stuff and know I don't agree with this particular lifestyle. I don't. All I'm saying is they're going to be treated with respect, like any other sin. But if the people that say, "Well, this is going to be the blackest Star Wars ever," which it seems to be, would it have the same energy that now people saying they're making the comment that this is the gayest Star Wars?
Well, can I say something? They managed to produce 2 black kids without a father in Star Wars, so I got to give it up to Disney for that.
Maybe we're not sure yet. Only.
So we got a single moms in the galaxy again. So well done, Disney. Well done.
Wow. Okay. Next thing is, we have any kind of theories or any kind of speculation on what we've seen so far? And since he came in last, we'll start off with Mr. Knight.
I'm gonna say, I know that right now a lot of people are probably thinking it's one of the Coven. That's the Sith person. But because they wield a lightsaber, I don't think it is. I actually believe it's that green lady from the Jedi.
Well, see, Chris, we talked about that earlier, and supposedly the people that read the High Republic books, they say that that's like a main character, and she's like the hero of the book. So I don't know if that's the case.
And does that mean they can't change that? I mean, I don't know. And the thing is, again, that is a difficult side of this, is that I didn't read those books, and I know that that's what this is based off of. Again, I keep telling people, when they say, that's not how the Old Republic was, and I said, well, folks, that's because you're not understanding what they're calling this. This is High Republic, not Old Republic. So I think we need to look at this. Old Republic is much further back, and the High Republic is the Jedi at their height, and then you get the prequel, which is the Fall of the Jedi. Then you get the original trilogy, which is supposed to be the rebirth of the Jedi. And then, unfortunately, it didn't actually work this way, but the sequel trilogy should have been about Luke's rebuilding of the Jedi Order, which they, again, didn't do, which, whatever. But that would have made a lot of sense. But I think in the hierarchy of how this all goes, that this is when they're at their height. So what starts the Jedi down the path of starting to lose their power or lose their grip would be that somebody from their own ranks, which we already know, Darth, um, oh shoot,
Plagueis?
Qui-Gon's master, no,
Dooku?
Dooku.
Dooku, thank you, Dooku.
Dooku.
So Dooku is somebody who's turned. We know others who turned or left the order because of their qualms. So I think that it would make a lot more sense that if one of the Jedi are who that is. And some of the ways she acted in this last thing, it's like, she didn't want him to go. And it just the way she looked and the way she sounded at times sounded like, no, I don't have that plan for you yet. And just, I don't know. It seems like they're framing it that way. I mean, it would make sense for it to be one of the Coven, but why would they use a lightsaber? They're not using lightsabers before. Why would they go to using lightsabers? So that's why I lead my belief that it is a Jedi who has decided to change direction. And perhaps you'll find out that it is attached to Plagueis, but I don't think we're going to get Plagueis yet.
All right. Warren, what's your theory?
My theory is that it's a fallen, it's a Jedi that knows about the old Republic and is so slowly bringing back, like, starting the machinations behind the scenes. I think it's the master before Plagueis. I think it's Tenebris who taught Plagueis, because again, this is 100 years before the prequel. So that's my theory there. And then I believe that was it May? Is it May? Because I there's twins, so I just need clarification. Is May we're
The bad
helping?
one.
May's
May's
the
the
bad
bad.
one.
Okay. Oh, so Osha,
It's a
I
good
have
one.
I have a feeling that she's going to do a double turn and do the reverse Uno and join her sister, and then they're not gonna stay together. They're gonna both be on the same dark side. That's and I have a feeling that um the Jedi is just gonna keep covering this up. Like, even though that it's gonna, they know that it exists now, but they're just gonna keep covering up. So everything we've heard before, because somebody's gonna have to report this to the Green Lady, right? So that means everything we saw was a lie, which is quite confusing. So those are my theories, that the Jedi are basically liars as well.
All right.
Pretty much.
Anzo, what's your theory?
That this show is going to continue to be ass.
Wow,
Good analysis.
he might be onto something here. He might be onto something. I don't know. This
Now,
episode,
Adam-
wait, really quick though. This episode, I think, was better than the last one, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
certain
mean-
aspects of it were.
Take away the last 5 minutes and no, right?
The
Because
first one, the first is the best episode so far to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. But no, I think that we're gonna find out who the Sith is, and that Sith that we seen in that fight, I don't think it's gonna be the Master. I think it's probably gonna be the
Chimera.
what's his name? Yeah. I think it's gonna be him, but I think he's taking orders from someone else, which is gonna be probably the Horned Lady.
Yeah.
I got you. All right, Shifty, what are your thoughts and your?
Okay, bear with me because it's going to take this a little bit. First, I want to touch on Chris's comment about the Green Lady. We actually seen her shown heavily in the trailer. She's got that pink bullwhip that she's going to be using, so she's fighting in the forest. So she may show up to help out against the Sith Lord. Okay, now this is my big theory. Now, last week we were all jiving with my stuff about Soul maybe being the big bad. Because of the kung fu and everybody using the same kung fu and all this stuff is pointing to Soul going around he was lurking behind the shadows in the reactor that later blew up, and everybody was digging it. Well, at least Grizzly and what's his face was last week, and, but I sat here today thinking about what is the motives for Soul being a bad guy, and I just couldn't think of any. I went down another path, and this is going to take a bit here. Soul seems deeply connected to twins. Even before meeting them, what if that's the twist? What if Soul is actually their father? Leslie Hedlund said that Kill Bill was an inspiration for the show. Bill was the head of an ex-lover's hit list, right? And the plot revolved around a child thought to be dead being secretly raised by another parent. The twins have none of Mother Coral's features. Neither have eyes, the funky eyes that she has. They don't have the tattoo markings, the horns, the pale skin. They could pass as Black Asian, though. Soul seemed emotional when he saw the twins in the forest during the flashback. Later, when he was comforting Osha at the end of the episode after the incident at the Coven, he was crying in what felt like a father's embrace. What if the twins are actually the children of Soul and Auntie Sarah? Now, stay with me.
I'm with you so far.
That would be a huge forbidden relationship on both sides. What if Anisea conned Coral into thinking they were miracle births after realizing she was pregnant to avoid being banished? Then, now this is the twist, then years later, when the Jedi landed on the planet, a fearful Anisea and Coral used the magic to swap appearances for a brief time, allowing her to go outside the Coven to get the girls and bring them back because she was afraid she would be spotted by, the Jedi or Soul. Something like that would cover the conversation that Coral had when they came back to the Coven, because they, that's where they said, I made her and I carried her. The roles are flipped. And that would be a huge gotcha moment for all the people that flipped out about it.
But are the Star Wars writer that smart to do that?
Not gonna happen.
Exactly.
After it's clear Osha would be leaving with the Jedi and learning that Anisea's deception, Coral kills her and then knocks out the witches with that force push, because we know that force push was used because Osha was in the tunnel and you heard that thump. And you saw the air move out the grates. So somebody used that force push, just like they used on the Jedi. So either one of them, it was either Coral or Anastasia that used that force push. Now let me. I get it. Okay. Okay. In this week's episode, Soul promised to tell Osha about everything when they return to the ship. Presumably with May when they arrested her. Now he might not get the chance to do that because he may get killed off, because he said he would tell them when they got back. Okay, and that a lot of people are pointing out that might be a direct reference to Ned Stark and Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, because anybody that's watched that show knows what happens to Ned. He gets killed off before he can tell them about their parentage.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. I think your theory is very, very interesting. But only reason why I doubt that, because the writing has been so lazy.
But do we know that? Do we know that?
Yes. Yeah. Trust me.
Let me change that. In my opinion, it seems it has the appearance of being lazy. But if they were to do that, that would be very interesting, and that would restore a lot of faith back into the fan base.
Yeah, wait, Shifty, really quick. Here's the thing. We have come to the conclusion on Marvel and Star Wars shows that we come up with much better plot points. I don't see at all where they're coming with that. And already, I think the problem is that they've already heavily implied that these two children were made from magic. They wield the Force in a way the Jedi don't like. And then the Jedi found out that they had children there, so somebody from the Coven probably leaked it. And then they came to find the children who are strong in the Force, and they were made of the Force. So that, I think, it's heavily implied that. And again, being witches adopted Marion witches, they did things like that too, and they were considered dark magic. And I think they've implied that in this too.
Where was it heavily implied though? It's just because they did a ceremony
At
and
the
just
very
because
beginning,
they said
they said that the way they were made.
who
I'll
witches
find.
said.
I will find the clip and I'll
I
send
know.
it to you.
I watched the episode 3 times. I know the witches said that, but I mean that could
Yes.
be just saying anything.
Okay.
And when the
Again,
Jedi asked who was the father, they said there
And they
was no
said there is
father.
no father. Yes, but that's what she
okay.
said.
Yes, but you see right there. That's it, and they're done writing that story. They've implied it. That's where they're going with it. I'm not saying your idea is wrong or bad. I'm just saying they will not do that because that took thought.
I don't know. I think Leslie.
Look
I
back on
think
this.
Leslie Headland's other shows are a lot smarter than this. So I'm thinking
Okay.
that he is planning something.
Listen to me, LDG.
I'm not saying this will happen. I'm just saying it's going to end up being something that we don't expect, and it's going to be a lot better than what you think. I don't think they're going to just pull some like Darth Bane or Darth Plagueis or somebody that nobody knows unless you read the books, because they're shooting for a casual audience, and they need to have a surprise.
Shifty, it was. Don't mean to interrupt you, Chris. It was stated that we're supposed to see by the end of the series someone of importance on from the Sith. So it could be Plagueis or it could be Tenebris, but we're going to
Yeah.
see somebody. That was already stated, so that's not a gotcha moment. It's been stated. So
I'm
just
not
want to throw that
totally
there.
I'm not totally against Shifty um read on that, because if I go back and I remember how Soul was acting, he does act very more concerned and emotional about those two than the rest of them. So that could be the
But
father.
Yeah,
where's the lead up for
but
that?
hold on. I think it's because of what happened in the count when they took them, right, in that covenant meeting, because we
Uh-huh.
still haven't seen exactly how they were killed. I think that's the reason why he's so concerned, because he
Yeah,
knows it was the Jedi that did it.
Yeah,
possibly.
but see, we saw him in the woods though. Before at the very beginning, he was like, "Oh my God!" He was like, he was very emotional when he saw them kids in the woods
Yeah,
there.
but that's because the Jedi are supposed to be caring and protective, or not in a
And
general term. And here's the thing: they have absolutely no lead up. He is a Padawan in that flashback scene. A
No, he's not.
Padawan. Yes, he
No,
is.
Torben.
Yes. No.
Torben is a bad one. Torben was
Listen to the flashback at the very beginning. She says, "This is my Padawan."
Torben was the
No,
Padawan.
I
The
don't think
kid,
so.
the guy from Game of Thrones, the
Yeah,
guy that was
Torben
meditating.
was the Padawan.
Yeah, Torben was.
okay,
Hold on.
okay,
Yeah,
but
I don't think Soul was
okay.
our Padawan. I think it was Torben.
Yeah, Torben was
I forgot
correct.
what I
Oh,
was.
just one more thing, and I'll shut up. Okay, look, I think the rest of the Jedi and his crew was with him. He told them what was going on, and they all helped him because he was their friend, right? So, and that's why they covered this up, and
Oh,
they covered up for so long, and that's why they feel guilty partially, because things went so haywire. Like Kilnaka left the order. And Torben, he went into a vow of silence, and he just meditated for after that happened. But plus, we're going to see, Kilnock and him get into it. So
and I remember what I was gonna say. And you're talking about when he's seen them in the forest, but the witches had already said that the Jedi have been tracking them for a minute. So the
Uh-huh.
Jedi already know that the kids are something was wrong with the kids, or they were powerful with the Force. That's why they were tracking them.
But it makes sense. It proves a part of Shifty's theory, Anzo. If he's the father, then of course, they're going to have the Force because he's the father.
Well, no,
and remember
because
last week,
but no, not because not all Force users have the Force, right? If they have kids, so
yeah, I just went with that theory because Grizzly, last week he brought up the point that maybe there's a male involved in the storyline somewhere, but with the origin of the twins. So that's what got me thinking this way.
Okay.
I still just don't. I don't think there's been any lead up to it, and there has to be some lead up. And I mean, I guess there doesn't have to be, but then it just totally falls flat. Because it's like, guess what? Ooh, we got you. Well, of course you got us, because you didn't even lead into it. Just because he comes across as caring and stuff, it's because these two kids in front of him, while he's on their planet, their whole life is destroyed. And then he finds out 16 years later that he left a child on that planet who is still alive. That is enough to make him feel some remorse of the situation, and in his own mind take some responsibility for it. So there's where the emotion comes from. It has nothing to do with being a father figure. And yes, in some sense, he may consider himself a father figure. That's like saying Obi-Wan was Luke's father. Again, whether or not you liked Obi-Wan or not, here's one of the best things they did with Obi-Wan. When Leia said, "Are you my father?" and he says, "No, I wish I was." Because he comes across as a fatherly person, and that is because he felt responsibility for where Luke and Leia were. Same thing here. It's a mirror image thing.
Okay, the coven, when everybody's laid out on the floor, they're not burnt. They're just laid out in like one general clump of bodies, right? What would make Coral attack all of them and knock everybody out like that? I mean, there's got to be some reason that she would turn on Anacera, who's not with the bodies. She's dead in another room, and then the bodies are all out there, and we saw the force push from below. So,
I know where you're going with it, but I mean, and here's the thing: maybe you're right. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just telling you that from what I've seen in most things, I would say the smartest. I will say the smartest Star Wars show I've seen, and of course, Danny and Nzo are going to laugh at this. The smartest Star Wars show I've seen so far is Andor. Yeah. But there's not as much deepness in that yet. They have something that could be deep with the sister and all that, but I don't know how they're going to tie that all in there. But they're not that deep. They're not that deep in the writing in Star Wars. So,
and Chris, you won't say he's wrong, but I will, because this isn't the first time he's had one of these way out theories.
Oh, I know.
What we're talking
until it's proven wrong, we don't know. I don't think he's right, but I can't say he's wrong until we're done with this, and then we say, "See, you had a great idea, but they don't think that way."
All right, gentlemen, we're going to about wrap this up. So let's go ahead and give this episode our grade. We're going to start off with Warren. What was your grade on episode 4, which is titled Day?
Are we doing letter or number?
However you want to do it, bro.
I'm gonna say it's a. I'm sorry, I gotta give it just a C. It picked up towards the end, or it'd have been a D, but I'm just gonna give it a C here.
All right. Shifty, what is your grade on it, sir?
B for Basil.
B for Basil.
Wow.
Right. Mr. Knight, what is your grade on this episode?
F for the titles, because these titles suck. I don't know where in the world they come up with these titles.
No, I
think AI is doing the titles.
No,
but I give this episode. What?
You said
well,
F?
see, you gave him F. The titles are
Wait, no.
Because most of the titles in the show have two different words, and this one's called day, and the next one's going to be called night.
Okay, it's still like, okay, this is the least thought you've put into anything. No, the titles are F, and they'll probably be F for the whole series. But this episode is a C+.
Okay. Let's see. The first episode didn't have a title. I'm trying to look back.
It didn't?
I think it did, didn't it?
No, it did.
I'm looking now. What's the name of it?
Yeah, it had two different words. The first two had two different words.
The third one was Destiny. This one was the fourth one was Day. I'm looking at episode 1 and 2 now. I don't see any titles.
Huh.
Oh, Lost and Found was one.
Yeah.
And Revenge and Justice was number 2. Lost/Found, was 1, and Revenge/Justice was 2. Destiny was 3. Day is 4.
Night will be next, probably.
All right. Anzo, what do you give this grade?
D.
D.
That's good.
And I'm going to give it a C plus because I'm still interested. The only reason I'm giving it a C plus because I'm really interested in who is going to be. Because we heard a lot of different theories here, a lot of different opinions, a lot of different things that sounds good, and I wish, based on what we've seen in the past, that the writing is that smart. But I just don't see them going from lazy writing to something that brilliant. And if it is, I'll be happily surprised. I'll definitely be surprised. But my brain and my heart is telling me that's not going to be it. But it would be fantastic if it was. That would definitely make for a better experience in what we're getting right now. But you heard the grades from all the fellas. I'm going to go around. First, start off with Mr. Warren. Tell the people where they can find you or where you hang out, what do you do, X, Twitch, whatever you want to call it. You've got your own show. Go ahead and promote that as well.
I hang out on Twitter. That is it.
All right. Mr. Shifty.
I hang out on Twitter also. So, yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
No problem, sir. Mr. Knight, what's going on in your neck of the
Yep.
woods, sir?
Well, not too much. Right now, kind of relegated to just doing shorts and stuff if I can. I'm in the middle of moving, but yeah, you can find me on Chaos Central. You can find me over on Danny's channel occasionally. Anzo's channel, like this week, is his birthday stream. Anzo's officially 50.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing something for that. You can find me there. On Star's channel occasionally. And on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it is now. It's all the same. Yeah, you can find me all those places. So thank you for having me as usual.
Yes, sir. You going to a different part of town or a different state?
Different part of town. I'm moving up probably either to my mother's and do some work on her house, and she's 76 or so now, so I'm an only child, and that's kind of something that has to happen. Yeah, so it's either that or I'll be close by there. Don't know yet.
All right, okay. Mr. Anzo, what's going on in your neck of the woods, sir?
You guys already know Big Afford Entertainment is the channel. Thursday will be the big birthday jam, but Wednesday we will also be doing the OOC. Make sure to check it out. And yeah, I guess we'll be back here on Tuesday to do another one of these stinking watch parties for this crappy ass show. But yeah, we'll be there.
All right, and I am Danny, aka Comic Chat, World Tourism, and I try to express to people my aspect and my different opinions on certain aspects of life. Some people like it, some people don't. But anyway, you can find me here on Sundays at 8 o'clock. Find me on Storms Live at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hang out on Wednesdays, which is at 8. Chaos Central, whenever we produce shows. And also you can find me on Anzo's show. OC from time to time. I definitely enjoy hanging out with you guys. A lot of good theories, a lot of good conversations, and like I did last week, man, I ain't got nowhere else to go, so that's why I'm hanging in there with Star Wars, and hopefully, man, it'll stick to landing. Usually, Disney Plus products don't stick to landing, and a lot of them. So hopefully, this one will stick to landing. Hopefully, it'll get better. But until next week. Y'all take it easy, man, and have a good week, man. Hey, may the force be with you. Peace.
Peace.